Hi, my name is Titus, and I'm going to be talking about the beginnings and basics of our nation and some often asked questions about our nation's government. So, America began with the American Revolution, when the colonists believed that Britain was depriving them of their rights. The Open Text textbook states, when American colonists felt that this long-standing tradition of representative self-government was threatened by the actions of Parliament and the King, the American Revolution began. So, fighting for freedom meant that the colonists needed their own form of government, and this first form of government was the Articles of Confederation. Having their own form of government meant that they were going to be a democracy and not a monarchy. A democracy is where they were going to elect delegates and representatives to represent the people instead of themselves. A monarchy is when a nation has a king or other form of leader that dictates what happens to the people. So people often ask if Britain was really controlling the colonists, and the answer is yes. They were making profit off of the absurd tax rates that they were enforcing upon the colonists. They were also keeping them from expanding their territories in the new nation. The colonists had left Britain to get away from their control, but Britain was actually just following them to the new nation and trying to control them. So, do the Founding Fathers' beliefs matter to people today? So, we must maintain what the Founding Fathers fought for, our rights, and we have to make sure that those rights are equal for all people. Representatives that are elected must promote the beliefs and motives of the people that elect them instead of trying to promote their own agendas and what they believe should be happening with the nation. Life, liberty, and property are all protected by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. The National Archives says, the Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Therefore, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution protect Americans' rights and represents what the Founding Fathers believed when they began the nation. So, what is liberty, life, and property? Life is the fact that Americans have the right to live. As an American, I have the right to be alive in this nation. Liberty means Americans have their rights. Liberty is you have the right to do something. The Bill of Rights guarantees civil rights and liberties to the individual, life, freedom of speech, press, and religion, according to the National Archives. So therefore, with liberty, we have the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, to believe what we want to believe and do what we want to do. And property is the right to have property and do what we want with that property, with obvious restrictions from the government. So, for example, in subdivisions and places that have a lot of people around them, you can't have certain pets or certain animals. You can't have big fires, things like that, and you can't have guns. You can't be shooting. You can have guns, but you can't be shooting guns in your backyard because of people being close and all of that. So, people also ask if the Bill of Rights is necessary. They think that, well, if they made the Constitution, therefore the Founding Fathers got it right the first time when they made the Constitution, and that the Bill of Rights is not needed. But the Bill of Rights is actually needed because it provides the first 10 amendments to the Constitution to actually make it better and stronger. An example is the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms. People today are wanting to ban guns, take guns away, make it illegal for people to buy guns, make ammo harder to get. All these things, they're trying to ban guns. So Mitch Romney says, somehow thinking that laws against the instruments of violence will make violence go away, I think, is misguided. What Romney's meaning by this is just by taking away the instruments of violence, which are ammunition and guns, just by taking those away, it doesn't mean that people are not going to stop being violent are going to want to stop doing harm to other people. And something that I believe is guns don't kill people, it's people that kill people. It's the motives behind the person with the gun that does harm to someone else. It's not the gun. A gun can't kill somebody on its own. It has to have an evil person behind it that has evil intentions. So finally, is the federal government too powerful? The federal government consists of the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and the executive branch. And it will stay in balance and will not become too powerful as long as James Madison's form of checks and balances stays in place. Checks and balances was a system that kept the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch all in line. One could not gain more power over the other and be completely in charge. It was divided between the three branches. The idea behind the checks and balances is that all three branches would strive to work together instead of striving to become more powerful, thus promoting the idea of a democracy. Some also think that states should have more power. And the answer to that is states already have their own government and they can choose what they want to happen in their state and how they want their state run. But no state should have power over another in the national government. All states should have equal power, equal say in the national government. And if that maintains, then yes, states will still have their own powers inside their state, but all the states will be treated equally in the national government. So, thank you, and I hope you learned a lot.